How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the LAIR. And today we're back in standard best of one. I call this Dream of Ancients. But before we get into it, I just want to say, if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It's free to you and helps us out so much. Feel free to drop me a comment, talk about strategy, deck ideas, misplays. I read the comments daily. And if you have any friends or family that are into Magic, please share the channel with them. Also, don't forget, if you are going to be a new follower or subscriber on either my Twitch or YouTube channels, once you've done so, just reach out to me in the chat or the comment and say something like, hey, I just followed or subscribed, and I can respond to you with an in-game code that you can use in Arena to unlock a mystery gift from Wizards. So very excited to be able to offer that. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. So let's hop into this. So this is going to be a Yorion deck. So Yorion is our companion, so we're running an 80-card deck instead of 60. And he's a 4/5 with flying, and when he enters the battlefield, exile any number of other non-land permanents you own and control, and return those cards to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step. On to the 2-drops, we have 2 copies of Fae of Wishes. This is an adventure card, so the adventure side at sorcery speed granted, you may reveal a non-creature card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand. And then the creature side, she's a 1/4 with flying, and then we can pay her, activate her ability, discard 2 cards, and return Fae of Wishes to its owner's hand. Running the full play set of Omen of the Sea. It's an enchantment that has flash, and when it enters the battlefield, we scry 2 and then draw a card. And then we can activate the ability later on, sacrifice it, and scry an additional 2. Running the full play set of Scorching Dragonfire at instant speed. Scorching Dragonfire deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die this turn, exile it instead. Running 2 copies of Shatterskull Smashing or Shatterskull the Hammer Pass. This is a module land. It can either enter the battlefield tapped or untapped unless we pay 3 and produce red mana, or at sorcery speed. It deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more, Shatterskull Smashing deals twice X damage divided as you choose among them instead. On to the 3-drops, we have 2 copies of Omen of the Sun. It's another enchantment that has flash, and when it enters the battlefield, we create 2 1/1 white human soldier creature tokens and gain 2 life. And then we can pay its ability later on, sacrifice it, and scry 2. We're running the full playset of Skyclave Apparition. She's a 2/2, and when she enters the battlefield, we exile up to 1 target non-land permanent, non-token permanent we don't control with converted mana cost 4 or less. And when she leaves the battlefield, the opponent creates an XX blue illusion creature token where X is the converted mana cost of the exiled card. Running 2 copies of Glasspool Mimic or Glasspool Shore. So it can either enter the battlefield tapped and produce blue mana, or we can have it enter the battlefield as the Shapeshifter Rogue. It enters as a copy of a creature we control, except for it's a Shapeshifter Rogue in addition to its other types. Running the full play set of Bonecrusher Giant. This is another adventure card. The adventure side, Stomp at instant speed. Damage can't be prevented this turn, and Stomp deals 2 damage to any target. And then his creature side, he's a 4/3, and whenever Bonecrusher Giant becomes the target of a spell, Bonecrusher Giant deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. On to the 4-drops, we have 1 copy of Elspeth, Sun's Nemesis. She comes in at 5 loyalty, and her -1, it says up to 2 target creatures you control get +2/+1 until the end of turn. And then her -2, create 2 +1/+1 white human soldier creature tokens. And then her -3, you gain 5 life. And then we can bring her back from the graveyard by paying her escape cost and exiling 4 other cards from our graveyard. Running the full play set of Shatter the Sky at sorcery speed. Each player who controls a creature with power 4 or greater draws a card, then destroy all creatures. I have 2 copies of Narset of the Ancient Way. She comes in at 4 loyalty. Her +1 ability says you gain 2 life, and then we add either a blue, red, or white mana. Spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. Her -2, draw a card, and then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Narset of the Ancient Way deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to target creature or planeswalker. And then her -6, we get an emblem. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. Running the full play set of Solemn Simulacrum. He's a 2/2, and when he enters the battlefield, we can search our library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle our library, and when he dies, we draw a card. On to the 5-drops, we have the full play set of Elspeth Conquers Death. first chapter says exile target permanent and opponent controls with converted mana cost 3 or greater. The second chapter, non-creature spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast until your next turn. And the final chapter, return target creature or planeswalker card from your graveyard to the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter or a loyalty counter on it. Onto the top end, we have 3 copies of Shark Typhoon. It's an enchantment that says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. And then we can cycle Shark Typhoon at any time, and when you cycle Shark Typhoon, you create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. We have 1 copy of Sublime Epiphany. At instant speed, choose 1 or more. Counter target spell, counter target activated or triggered ability, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, or target player draws a card. We're running the full play set of Dream Trawler. She's a 3/5 with flying and lifelink, and whenever you draw a card, Dream Trawler gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. And whenever Dream Trawler attacks, draw a card. And then we can discard a card at any time, and Dream Trawler gains hexproof until the end of turn. Tap it. I have 2 copies of Emeria Shattered Skyclave or Emeria's Call. It can either enter the battlefield tapped or untapped if we pay 3 life and produce white mana, or at sorcery speed we create 2 4/4 white angel warrior creature tokens with flying. Non-angel creatures you control gain indestructible until your next turn. And then finally, 1 copy of Ugin, the Spear Dragon. He comes in at 7 loyalty. His +2 is he deals 3 damage to any target. His -X, exile each permanent with converted mana cost X or less, that's 1 or more colors. And his ultimate -10, you gain 7 life, draw 7 cards, and then put up to 7 permanent cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Before we get into the lands, let's talk about the sideboard. We're not playing best of 3 today. We are going to be doing best of 1, but Fae of Wishes allows us access to our sideboard. So we have 1 copy of Soul Guide Lantern. It's an artifact that when it enters the battlefield, we exile target card from a graveyard. And then we can tap it and sacrifice it later on and exile each opponent's graveyard. We could pay 1, tap it, sacrifice it, and draw a card. Running 3 copies of Sorcerer's Spyglass is another artifact. As Sorcerer's Spyglass enters the battlefield, look at an opponent's hand, then choose any card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. We have 1 copy of Midnight Clock. We could tap, add 1 blue mana, or activate its ability and put an hour counter on Midnight Clock. At the beginning of each upkeep, put an hour counter on Midnight Clock, and when there are 12 hour counters on Midnight Clock, shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards, and exile Midnight Clock. We have 1 copy of Mythos of Luna. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent, and we're gonna skip the rest because we're not running green. We have an additional copy of Storm's Wrath at sorcery speed. Storm's Wrath deals 4 damage to each creature and each planeswalker. 1 copy of Outlaw's Merriment. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose 1 at random. We create a red-white token that's either a 3/1 warrior with trample and haste, a 2/1 cleric with lifelink and haste, a 1/2 rogue with haste, and when this creature enters the battlefield, does 1 damage to any target. 1 copy of Whirlwind of Thought, another enchantment that says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. An additional copy of Sublime Epiphany. 1 copy of Kiora, Best the Sea Gods. This is another saga. The first chapter says create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token with hexproof. The second chapter, tap all non-land permanents target opponent controls. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. And then the final chapter, gain control of target permanent and opponent controls, untap it. Running 1 copy of Inspired Ultimatum, a sorcery speed. Target player gains 5 life. Inspired Ultimatum deals 5 damage to any target, and then you draw 5 cards. Additional copy of Ugin, the Spear Dragon, and 1 copy of Heliod's Intervention. At instant speed, choose 1, destroy X target artifacts and or enchantments, and target player gains twice X life. So let's briefly talk about the mana base. We have 4 planes, 1 Castle Vantress, 2 islands, 3 mountains, 2 Temple of Enlightenment, the full playset of Lava Glide or River Glide Pathway, the full playset of Pillar Verge or Needle Verge Pathway, 2 Temple of Triumph, the full playset of Roger and Triome, And finally, 4 copies of Fabled Passage. So pretty simple. This deck is a control deck. We're looking to oppress the opponent in the early game until we can ramp into our threats, which in this deck would either be Shark Typhoon, Dream Trawler, or eventually Ugin. We get there with ramp by Solemn and our massive amounts of card draw and scry in Omen of the Sea, Omen of the Sun. If we can get into a Narset mid-game before we draw into our later threats, that will also help us dig, gain life. She kind of does a little bit of everything. Bonecrusher Giant's another defensive spell that we can later on play as a creature. Scorching Dragonfire is amazing for all the indestructibles out there, being able to exile those pesky planeswalkers and creatures. Skyclave Apparition hits all non-land permanents 4 or less, and then we have Elspeth, which is our top-end defensive spell, which hits every permanent 3 or higher, also allows us to recur our threats. And then we have our Ugin to finish the game, like I said, Dream Trawler, Shark Typhoon, Sublime Epiphany as a one-off to surprise the opponent since we're not actually running any other counter spells. And then we have Shatter the Sky for board control. Elspeth is a one-off, usually overperforms. It kind of slots into anything. If we have a Dream Trawler out, we can pump her, or create some tokens if we are at an advantage, or gain life if we were in a bind. But yeah, that's pretty much the deck. We have a 3.9 converted mana cost, running 20 creatures and 30 lands technically. However, with our module lands, we have 36 lands that we're running. So let's hop into some games. Let's see how we do. Alright, so we got a 3-lander here. This looks kind of risky. I'm not digging the double Dream Trawler. I think we can mulligan this. This doesn't seem very good either. Mulligan. Alright, so we're going to have to make this work. We don't want to lose any of our lands. We want the Omen. You have to drop 3 cards. Ugh. I guess this is really tough. So we'll keep, I guess we just hold up the Shatter. Oh, return 2 cards. Okay. Like this. So we have to definitely name white for sure. Opponents on red, we draw into a pathway, or I'm sorry, an Omen, which is nice. And we'll hold that up for our opponent's turn. Mr. Datuz. Mono red, not playing anything. This is interesting. Okay, so we'll play our Omen. We don't need another blue, but we will take the Fabled for an additional white. Elspeth is nice. So we'll play red here. Have nothing else to do, so we'll pull in Yorion. Bonecrush to the face. Okay. I wonder if this is big red. 4-3. Okay, play Fabled. We'll search up an additional white. I am going to just Skyclave now. First off, we dodge the ability for the burn, and if they waste a burn spell on the Skyclave, that's not to our face, so that's fine. And now this creature comes back into play with Summoning Sickness, and we want him to play more creatures. So it's Elspeth. Take the Annex. Fervent, sure. Oof, and Embercleave, nice. Alright, so we have to board wipe here. With that. We will play out our Temple. Skyclave's nice. It's 4. Going for it. +1. I guess we'll take the creature. And then we'll take Embercleave. And I think we'll hold up the Omen for our opponent's turn. Could be dead here to burn, but at least we have blockers. There's another Annex, sure. That was my misplay on... I think we're just dead here, right? Okay, I think we'll just search up another plains here. So we're gonna bounce you, you, and you. Yep. No attacks. Skyclave comes back in. We take Annex, of course. Glass Pool. Don't know if we need you, and I think we're good on the Bonecrusher for now. We're looking for a Dream Trawler. Desperately need a Dream Trawler. Shatterskull could come in handy. But we really need that Dream Trawler, don't we? We definitely want the Shatter. For sure. I mean, we're at such low life total, but we have a pretty good amount of blockers, so we're... Oh, we just quit. Alright. I'll take it. On to the next one. So with some risky mulligans. They say, the pros say that that's the hardest thing to master is the mulligan, you know, to read your deck, to understand what's your chances and your probabilities of drawing into certain cards and how good you're evaluating your opening hand. So we have a 4-lander here. I think we can make this work. So I guess we do Shatterskull tapped, turn 2 River Glide. Hello. Okay. We hold up the Omen. Okay. Rogarin is nice. Narset is nice. Seems decent. Let's play Rogarin here. Maybe we can do turn 4. Do we do Solemn? I think we do Solemn here. Search for planes. Okay. So it looks like we need to start searching for a board wipe. Okay, so we'll Fabled here. Search up the plains. We'll play Solemn.
Love you, Daddy.
Love you too, man. We'll search up the plains. And then next turn, Dream Trawler. Gem Razor, sure. Yes. We will draw a card. 6, 7, 8. Ouch. Unca Monkey. Alright, Bonecrusher doesn't help us. I wonder if Elspeth just hits the Gem Razor. Right, we have to try to take out this Gem Razor. Okay, cool, because he's attached to it. Right, let's go ahead and Temple here. Skyclave's nice. Wonder if he plays out the Love Struck, or if we could see a Questing Beast. Another Gem Razor, wow. Okay, that's pretty nasty. 6. Need to draw into a board wipe here. No board wipe. Alright, let's Fabled Passage for a blue source. So we have 7. We can Emeria's, which would give us 8. I think that's what we have to do, right? This is our last chance. If he has another Gem Razor, mutates onto the stone coil. Great Henge. Okay. And Yorvo. Okay. Well, we can Skyclave or Yorvo. Let's get out the Dream Trawler, maybe? And pass? So good news is we can at least chump block or Yorvo. Alright. So we have to block. We have to block here. Alright. So let's do white here. Let's attack first because we could draw into... Well, that's definitely not it. Okay. So there's 5. Skyclave, Yorvo, Skyclave, Lovestruck, and then hold up Bonecrush, I guess. So I guess that's our best move. If we can untap again with Dream Trawler, we might be able to stabilize. Could be a giant stone coil. Primal miting the... So we're just dead, right? Good game. That was a tough one. The triple gem razor did us in. That one play where he took our Elspeth Conquerors kind of jammed us up, and then when he dropped the henge, it was hard to come back from that. Oh well. On to the next one. Excuse me. Alright, this does not seem like a keepable hand. We don't really have any early interaction. We only have a 2-lander. We have a lot of expensive cards. This looks a little bit better. Not really digging the no white source, but I'm gonna have to make it work. So, most valuable here, I think we'll definitely keep this. Let's drop the Skyclave and try and search up some white sources, I guess. So I guess turn 1 play we fabled and search up a white. Okay. Perfect Shady plays a mountain and does nothing. So we will search up a plains. Next turn we River Glide and we hold up the Omen. Looking for a white source. Robber of the Rich, not cool. So we're going to draw a card, so we'll take Simulacrum and we'll let him take a land, I guess. Okay. Wish this was a white source, but that's okay. Nothing else to do here, so we'll just pull in Yorion. Next turn we can Solemn and search up a white. So then we'll have double white, and then I can play River Glide. We'll have double blue for our Dream Trawler. Looks like we're going to want to get now. Also Scorching. Okay, so we'll name River Glide here. We'll do Solemn. Search up a white source. Could see an Embercleave. Corkin, ouch. So we definitely have to Organics here. getting all of our goodies. Okay. So, definitely need to board wipe. Yep. Got our temple. Don't need more land. Could see an Embercleave here. 4, 6, 2. Yeah, I think you can cast it. Okay, no Embercleave. Dream Trawler, I guess? I don't think it's going to be enough, though. Soulseer. 3, 4, 5, 6. Guess we discard a land. Sure. But he still gets hexproof. Sure. So he's tapped out at least. 4, 5, 6. 6. Go down to 2. So let's attack first. Okay. Go up to 4. I think we have to play this Dream Trawler as our best bet. Have another blocker. We can attack, untap one more time. He has an Embercleave. Rimrock, sure. And Embercleave, sure. So we're just dead again. Feels bad. To beat mono red though. I feel like we haven't been getting very good draws with this deck. You know, get Magic the Gathering, that's how we do it. Alright. Maybe we should main deck a, get rid of one Dream Trawler and main deck a Genesis, or a Inspiring. Okay, so we have some white sources, we have a Shatter, we can make this work. Okay. Hop into one more here. Maybe.
finally got that sword. Look. Finally got it.
Alright. Daratharth. Darathar. We can make this work, I think. So let's. This comes into play tapped. So we'll start off with Vantress. We will play out our Pillar Verge, hold up the Omen, pass. Looking for another white source. My turn will Omen, looking for a white source. That's not a white source. I think we bottom the River Glide. Could be control. Yeah, I think we want the... No, we need a white source, right? We got the Skyclave, so we're looking for a white source. That's not a white source. Rogarin's nice. Alright, what you got? Woe Strider, sure. Well. Let's go ahead and zap that now. Don't know if he's running graveyard shenanigans and reanimation, so I'll hold up on the exile for now, but I'm pretty sure he is running removal. Depends on if this is a sacrifice deck, so I don't want to play Skyclave and then run into like a Claim the Firstborn. So here, let's play the Mountain. Let's play Bonecrusher. We'll hold up the Omen. That seems legit. Revenge's Offspring. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile target red, white, or black creature covered in the graveyard creature. Interesting. Okay, we'll Omen here, looking for a white source. It's not a white source. Oh, well, we have white and Rogarin. 3, 4, 5, 6. That Sublime Epiphany could be nice. We are gonna pay 3. And we're gonna go in. Gonna hold up the Sublime Epiphany. See what he tries to play next turn. He has nothing else to sacrifice, so he has to play something, right? Woe Strider by himself is pretty useless. Discard 2 cards. Draw 3 cards, sure. So what is he trying to build a bin? Alright, so we will counter target spell, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, create a token, and draw a card. Turn this one to its owner's hand, target creature you control, target player draws a card. So I did that right. There we go. Cool. Well, we got 8 damage on the board, so we're coming in. Skyclave unfortunately does not hit this. 3, 4, 5. We're just out of Skyclave range. We could. Oh no! What am I thinking here? Shatterskull for 2. Yep. Sign does not put anything in the graveyard though, so now we go in for 8. Just play out Glass Pool tapped, and then next turn we can Emeria's and probably end the game. Opponent could be running Ruinous Ultimatum, which would be absolutely horrible. Okay, Savai, sure. And Liliana. That's a nice target for Skyclave. Alright, so we'll name blue here. We have plenty of red sources. We will Skyclave the Lilianas. Pull in Yorion. Smack the face. Okay. Got another Skyclave here, but I think next turn we'll definitely Emeria's. Oh. Ox. Ox. I was gonna say, I don't know what he was thinking there. What does he do? Can't Skyclave any of those. Do we just shatter? So let's attack first. That's 6 damage. Okay, and now we shatter. And turn. Keeping his graveyard nice and empty. I think the most dangerous card was definitely that Morag. Pretty cool deck. It's like I have a couple copies of this card too. I've been trying to make it work, but it's so wonky. But this is pretty cool strategy. So like fill your graveyard, haste, flying. Whenever it attacks, defending player chooses a non-legendary creature card in your graveyard. Do you return that card to the battlefield? Oh, Kenrith, nice. Ugin. That'll do. Yeah. That'll do it. And we have Emeria's.
Is unwritten.
Fissure was so we plus per you. We
Ghost fire, my greatest
Or-
creation.
have to Elspeth. Take you. I'm trying to cast this Emeria's, but it's so difficult. Please stop. This deck is very resilient. I'll give it that.
Your fate is sealed.
I think we've stabilized here, though. I think we've
My
stabilized.
flames burn beyond perception.
What? Oh, I can't even cast it? That's garbage. Do I have anything worth? Yeah, I do. So I'll just bounce you.
Proceed in my stead, Planeswalker.
Yeah, and I think we just hold on to the apparitions.
An opportunity.
No, we have a blocker
to
at least. That's
address
good.
me is the chance to fail.
Cathartic. Alright. I think this is game for us. So he has to deal with he has to deal with Yorion, he has to deal with Ugin. And then even if he manages to kill Ugin somehow, we can just bring him back with Elspeth. Yeah. It's not gonna do it. Yeah, definitely block you. For sure.
Do not threaten.
Got him. Yeah, I think the only thing I would change is maybe cut one Dream Trawler and add a main deck another. So let's see here. So let's drop one Dream Trawler and add one main deck inspired like that. That's what I would change. Everything else felt good. The Sublime Epiphany was sick. But yeah, cool deck. Really enjoyed the play. Like I said, that would be my only change to it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Once again, if you're going to be new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It's free to you and helps us out so much. Feel free to drop me a comment, talk about strategy, deck ideas, misplays. I read the comments daily. And if you have any friends or family that are into Magic, please share the channel with them. Also, don't forget, if you are going to be a new follower or subscriber on either my Twitch or YouTube channels, once you've done so, just reach out to me in the chat or the comments and say something like, hey, I just followed or subscribed, and I can respond to you with an in-game code that you can use to unlock a mystery gift from Wizard. So very excited to be able to offer that to you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.